Welcome to LSF Round 6! Tensions are higher than ever as the survivors of this round will make it into the elusive Phase 3. Let's speedrun these confessionals so we can jump into the action. Adamanti said, "Everyone who renamed themselves to Adamanti. Whenever I try to search for my own messages in any WoW server, somehow you guys always show up in the list instead of the actual me. I hate this." Claire Crayon said, "Fuck you H, I would have lived if you didn't redact Joan Hill." Clover has forfeited the rap battle. Good game. Cyclo said, "Jesus, this round was a bitch. I'm pretty sure I'm placing in bottom half this round, but I think I might have done good enough in previous rounds to pass this phase. I hope." Jolene Kirby said, "Unless there is a miracle, I am 100% out. Well, I will say I don't really like this twist, but I do really like this prompt. It'll be a good one to go back on. It was fun. Good luck to whoever survives. Hope to see y'all around. Love and rage." Verigold said, "This is me, by the way. When you're voting my response down, this is who you're voting down." That was a new low for confessionals. Honestly, that's probably for the best. I think revealing the qualifiers is going to take a while. But anyway, how about a change of scene? This is my personal solar system. Only the top 26 NSRs will be allowed to make it their planetary home, while the rest will be flung out of orbit. Let's get this galactic party started. First things first, our top dog this phase should come as a surprise to just about no one. They had built themselves up a 5-round prize streak, and while that sadly came to an end this round, they didn't fall down by much. Congratulations to Arnu on an insanely dominant performance. Now, while Arnu was the second person to be ushered into Phase 2, our runner-up was the second last. There seemed to be an otherwise high correlation between performance in both phases, but Nindragon, consider yourself a huge exception to that rule. Onto our bronze medalist. This person was, for reasons I can't comprehend, nervous about qualifying. Although they only prized once this phase and went lower with every round, they still didn't carry a single bad placement. Cyclo, you really need to be more confident in your own skills, because you clearly have the potential to be a magnificent player. Fourth place is one inconsistent contestant. They took the wildcard role back in round 2, and haven't lost it ever since. While they came close to keeping a prize streak throughout this phase, they ultimately dropped to the floor like a scooped-out fruit pit this round. Avocado, you never fail to impress. Hope you can keep up this energy in Phase 3. Speaking of inconsistency, our 5th placer was all over the place this round. They fluctuated quite a bit across the leaderboard this round, earning the highest standard deviation to boot. But after some very lackluster performances in my past few seasons, you can bet I'm happy to see Don't Trust the Bushes bounce back in a major way. 6th place is an interesting one. They were one of the highest finishers in Phase 1, but they sat at a relatively low position after rounds 4 and 5. Thankfully for them, they came back strong enough this round to earn a prize and end up in the top few once again. Congrats, Clover! If Tonya is a dumb fuck, this person is a dumber fuck. Not a donut, you need to be stopped before you win yet another one of my seasons. 8th had a pretty strong comeback from their performance in Phase 1, though they weren't doing bad to begin with. They also got a higher and higher SR in each round of this phase. Hooray for progressiveness, and welcome to Phase 3, Da Daybreak. Now, on to our next qualifier. I'm glad they never gave up on responding, and I hope 9th place doesn't let them down. Keep up the good run around here, Adamanti. Rounding off the top 10 is another one of the strongest players from Phase 1. They were doing quite well in rounds 4 and 5 as well, but a series of harsh redactions this time around made them slip in the rankings. Still, Mindflex B has the chance to remain a force to be reckoned with in Phase 3. 11th place thought they were done for. I guess I can hardly blame them considering their pitiful performance in round 4, but how does a prize this round sound instead, nerdy gal? I firmly believe our 12th placer is one of the most threatening contestants in the season. After escaping a potential choke in Phase 1, they kept up a highly consistent series of solid placements in Phase 2, and ended up here. TR, I look forward to seeing how the next stage of the game treats you. I'm really happy to see 13th place doing so well, especially after what happened the last time they joined a season of mine. I can tell they're one of the most passionate contestants, and that enthusiasm goes both ways. Let's hope this season is more of a lit WoW and less of a concise WoW for you, hey Pika Man? I don't have as much to say about 14th, but they have super voted in 5 out of 6 rounds so far, which I really appreciate. Keep being cool, Sicto. On to 15th. This person just barely got a response into round 5, and if I hadn't been kind enough to accept it, they would be dead meat for sure. Their planet was also a pain in the ass to draw. Regardless, welcome to Phase 3, ITOD. I believe 16th place was in the top 3 in SRs from rounds 1 through 5. You could say they fell off this round, but one low placement isn't enough to negate their obvious skill. Meowie, I hope to see you bounce back from this and rise to the top once again in the 3rd phase. What is there to say about 17th? I'd say they're green with envy from not placing higher, but realistically, it's actually from the chlorophyll. And Artichoke, I'm glad to say you've made it past another phase. You've had the Peacemaker stat for a disturbingly long time, and it's safe to say you won't be losing it for a while. It's also worth noting that we've dipped below the 200% SR mark. Many people said 18th place shouldn't have been in Phase 2. Many others said they'd surely get eliminated instantly if they were let in. But an SR penalty wasn't enough to stop Sergeant Snivy, who I'm sure is thrilled to get to participate in Phase 3. 19th was actually in the dying zone before this round, believe it or not. Their inconsistency seems to have worked in their favor for once, because they clutched a narrow prize this round, and that was enough to catapult them into qualifying. A literal tree, you had the potential to finally top your Leo trial run if you keep this up. Now, for 20th place. They were doing fantastic in rounds 4 and 5, but there's no way to sugarcoat this, they flopped this round. Thankfully for Funo, that wasn't enough to stop him from qualifying. 21st place had a really rough performance in round 5, but their strong showings in rounds 4 and 6 were enough to carry them through. Eternal Rose, I believe in your redemption arc. Show us what you're made of. 22nd knew they had enough of an SR lead that they could just fuck around this round, so that's exactly what they did. I hope you're proud of yourself, Faragold. 23rd is another player I don't have much to say about. Their methods of making it through Phase 1 were questionable at times, but I think they played clean this time around. Koopa, try to keep the trolling to a minimum in Phase 3, please and thank you. Ooh, now things are really getting tense. We only have 3 players left before the doors on Phase 3 close forever. In order to add some more suspense, I'm going to read out the names of everyone who fell below 100% SRs this phase, bottom to top. 50th. Orbital Nova. 49th, Otis. 48th, Pixel. 47th, Suomi Namco. 46th, Reed. 45th, Envy. 44th, Evrion. 43rd, Normal Bend. 42nd, Mechtoon. 41st, Squish. 40th, Rapid. 39th, Tonya Chopper. 38th, Claire Crayon. 37th, Jolene Kirby. 36th, Crazy. 35th, Phoenix 19, and 34th, Fidget Boy. Thank you all for playing. This leaves only 10 players left in contention for the final 3 spots, and let me tell you, it was a close battle. Ultimately, 24th place went to one of the biggest underdogs in the competition, Neutrality. Seeing you climb from 7.38% infamy to a spot in this TWOW's 3rd phase has been awesome, and I hope you can go even further. 25th. From the outset, it looks like this person would cruise through this phase without a hitch. However, they came very close to missing out thanks to an extremely underwhelming performance this round. Bubble Trumps, consider yourself lucky to be alive. And this is it. The last spot of the phase up for grabs. So many strong players choked right at the end, but one in particular was able to pull through and scrape by in an SR margin of 2.82%, even narrower than last phase. That's the kind of gap that a single vote could make up. The more observant of you in the audience may notice that I've called out 3 prizers this round, but one spot has remained unnamed. As unlikely as it seems, that spot is first place in round 6, and it went to the person I'm about to call out. If they had placed a single spot lower, they likely wouldn't have made the cut. Everyone, please welcome your 26th and final qualifier, Fred something. It really looked like it was over for you after the first 2 rounds. Countless people, myself included, assumed that there was no way someone could make up a deficit as large as yours, sitting at 61% SRs and 9 spots behind the scrape. But god damn it, Fred, you pulled it off. I'm proud of you. To Twiggy, Ranalt C6, Kohaki, Infinithreat, Fish, Quetzal, and Pastel, I'm truly sorry that you barely fell short. I hope you can all go home satisfied with your performances in spite of that. I had an empty space in my solar system, so I decided to make an H-planet as well, as a tribute to how much he helped move this phase along. Since I'm sure some people will want to see the leaderboard for this round, here it is. The full version will be posted in the server once this premiere ends. There's not a whole lot that I want to say about it, but I do find it worth mentioning that Fidget Boy was in the top 3 of this round for a very long time, which came as a shock to me. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have been able to qualify regardless, but that would have been an insane comeback had later voters not struck down his response. Well, while not nearly as chaotic as Phase 1, this has definitely been a super fun phase to host, and I can't wait to see how Phase 3 ends up. I think that's all I've got to say. I'll see